Evening, everyone. Back again
How we
for
doing?
episode 26 of these live auctions, Chris. Bloody hell, we're halfway through a full year of
26, mate.
auctions.
Bloody hell. And I think it's something in the region of about 450 fish, something like that.
Blimmin' heck, yeah.
So yeah, quite a lot when you think about it.
Yeah, it is a lot, yeah. How are you doing, Chris, anyway?
I can't sugarcoat it, mate. I'm I'm tired. I've had a rather poorly little girl, mate. So yeah, done an all nighter, and yeah, today's not been much better, and trying
Oh,
to get
God.
things done and whatnot. So yeah, it's been fun. Bless her. Probably not in for a much better evening tonight either. But yeah,
Fun and games. Fun
such
and
is life,
games.
mate. Trying to
Yeah.
multitask. I'm not the best at that, mate.
Oh, dear. Well, I'm sure we'll manage to put on a good auction tonight for everybody. So I think we've got some interesting pieces, some little bit of different mixes tonight in it from the standard Go Sankey stuff, isn't it?
Well,
So
yeah, I had a couple of messages. So you probably get more because everything's obviously we live stream, but obviously people view it retrospectively as well. We get quite a few little, messages coming through saying like, "Oh, it would be nice if you could mix it up a little bit." You know, love the Go Sankey, but you know, I'm a little bit overcooked with the Go Sankey, or have you got something different? So we were, yeah, selecting through one of the grow on ponds and seemed like a good opportunity to get a few bits and pieces out. Try and explore some different varieties. You know, might be a bit Marmite for some people, but you know that's the beauty of koi, isn't it? There's something for everyone.
yeah,
And we've always said we'll try and do what people demand. So yeah, hence why we sort of mixed it up a little bit tonight. Fairly low starting prices, to be fair. I think. Am I right in saying that?
yeah. I think we're every fish tonight. We've got 14 lots, and they all start at 50 quid. So nice, affordable start price for everybody, isn't it?
I think they're all mid to late 20s, are they? I think so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not even for sort of a low standard fish. That's not too bad price point, is it? So
No.
yeah. Yeah, what's been going on then? I know you've had a bit of a hectic schedule before you go away.
Yeah, just tying up little bits here and there, and I'm still waiting on Lee to get me some photos. I can see him in the chat, so I said I'd hold him to that. But no, some interesting bits coming up in the magazine. If everybody's not, a subscriber of it, I tell you, I'm a bit biased, but now would be a good time to get on that magazine. Nah, it's all
You know
good to be
what? I
fair.
actually, it sounds nuts because obviously we produce the magazine, but with the pace of everything and actually sort of when you're involved in writing it and producing it and everything, sometimes you don't actually isolate the actual finished product and sit down and go through it all. And I thought the last issue was actually one of the best ones we've done.
Yeah,
That
I agree.
collaboration with Marido Koi Farm, that history, that yeah, really getting into the heart of koi territory, and yeah, some great photography and just great advice in general. Nice little piece by Rick at New Forest as well. I thought that was quite yeah, quite a nice tip of the cap to the late great Mark Gardner. So yeah, all in all, I was pretty pleased with the last edition, mate.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what people think of this next one as well. I think we've got a really great readers pond, and a new author to the magazine as well. A couple of authors, I think, actually in this next edition, new to the magazine. So, yeah, it's all a change. People that maybe subscribed, a year ago or whatever. There's some new authors and bringing just a bit of new perspective to it as well. Stuff that
Oh,
I
and something a bit different, a bit of a twist on the appreciation pages, which yeah, I think is going to be an interesting one.
you tease. What a tease!
Yeah, Yeah, me, mate.
So we've got. Shall we stick a fish up on the screen, and I'll let you speak about the farm it's that these have come from, because this is a bit of a special tonight, isn't it? We've got all these fish from the same breeder.
Yeah, so this is a farm that if you're sort of in the industry, you'll be no doubt well aware of it. This is Kazuhiro Ikarashi, aka Ikarashi Izumi Koi Farm, sort of famous for its weird and wonderful, to be honest with you. So, yeah, lots of Benny Kikurio, Kiki Kikurio, Benny Ginga. Yeah, lots of sort of oddities, really. And it's a real safe haven if you're sort of like, oh, I've got a customer that's interested in something a bit different. It's a go-to farm, really. Goshki, Achiba. It has a multitude of varieties, and he does them all to a very good standard. And even then, when I'm listing those varieties, I know there's ones that I've missed off. I'm just thinking about that pond, Asagi, Shisui. There's just literally, there's not really a lot that he doesn't do to quite a good standard. So yeah, this is sort of Benny Ginga style. It's sort of been, if I were to sort of say one of the most popular varieties this year, got to be Benny Ginga. Just couldn't keep
Yeah.
him in stock.
No,
Nuts.
we had one go. We had quite a battle over one, didn't we? On one
Mm.
of the auctions as well. A really nice piece as well. So yeah, I quite like Benny Ginga, to be fair. A little bit different, and they're not really very close to any other varieties. They're like a metallic goshki, aren't they?
Yeah, I think
In a lot of
people
aspects.
naturally, yeah, they sort of they sort of view them as being a cross between like a Goshki and a Kajaku, don't they?
Mm,
And it sits sort of somewhere in and amongst that. But I mean, definitely in terms of developmental progress, they're quite good in the sense that, generally speaking, if that sort of Benny plate remains clean, you can pretty much put your money on that skin darkening,
mm,
which tends to just enhance that contrast in the color. So yeah, they're a pretty safe bet in terms of wanting to progress them, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, nice. And I know they were extremely popular, these mixes, with the dealers that we work with. I think offering fish at really affordable price points in multiple different varieties, because that's the other thing, isn't it? When Koi Wholesale are buying, Benny Ginga, for example, we're not buying them in boxes and box loads of that
Yeah.
specific variety, are we? So it's nice to get such varied mixes.
It's
On.
ironic because the moment that you can start just buying Benny Ginga by the boatload, the popularity will drop off.
Yeah.
This is always the sort of intriguing thing. It's I don't know. Take Yellow Monkey for example. There's no way Danichi cannot produce thousands of them if he wanted to. But what would happen if he did? He'd flood the market, and he couldn't command the prices that he wanted. So also, there's probably only so many Ginrin Karashigor you could sell versus say like a Haku or Showa.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's always a bit of tactic involved, that's for sure, and that's where a bit of business acumen comes in place. Too much of a good thing sometimes, can spoil the market a little bit. So yeah, they're not all daft, these breeders. In fact, they're
No.
quite astute sometimes. So yeah.
No, we've got Ray Plant at 60 quid on this one. We haven't had any other activity in a couple of minutes, so don't know whether we look to wrap this one up as a early bargain. I know we've only got 100 people at the minute on viewing us, so take advantage whilst people are still tuning in. It always seems the first few lots sneak
Yeah, it
past
does. Yeah.
people, don't they?
I think people are still getting in from work, aren't they? Or sort of getting moaned at for watching this rather than sorting the kids out.
Either that or they're still having tea or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So
But no.
yeah, you could be right. Could be a good tactic, mate, to get in early doors with these.
Yeah, we've got some really exciting pieces towards the end. To be fair, some nice bits I think people will be quite excited about. So worth staying tuned until the end. But again, all starting at 50 quid. So all right, I'll roll the video again. See if we get any more interest. Yeah, I don't see a lot of these. Or at least I haven't seen a lot of these on the farm this year.
You don't see masses of them full stop, to be honest with you. I think from a breeding perspective, there's probably more varieties on the market that perhaps offer a more, secure investment, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah,
this guy can sort of breed Benny Kiko to a very high standard. You know, a lot of other varieties to a very high standard that are quite established. I would say Benny Ginga is a little bit, although it's not a new variety per se, it's sort of gaining momentum more in recent years. So yeah, looks like Ray's on his own with this one, mate.
yeah. Should we call it on Ray? I rolled the video last time.
Yeah, run it one more time, mate. Looking for 65 to keep this one alive. Anyone with 65. So I think we have got a bit of a lag, and obviously Facebook is still inactive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so I'm just getting messages coming in about lagging. Yeah, is what it is. We've got to run with it, mate. So yeah, let's do make this official. So starting off with a bit of a bargain. Ray, fair play, buddy. 60 quid. Going
Nice.
once. Going twice. Sold for 60 quid.
Amazing. Well done, Ray.
What we got next, mate?
So I'm gonna mix it up because we've got quite a few varieties in the same varieties in a row. So I'll skip ahead to C and then backtrack.
So one of the more sort of what I think of the farm, one variety that stands out when I think of Ikarashi Koi Farm is this particular variety. Benny Kiko, Kiki Kikurio as well. Yeah, he's a bit of a ninja for producing these, mate. So yeah, probably that luster is a little bit better demonstrated on the video. I think you're going to get quite a subtle sort of pattern, quite stripped back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah, nice.
Montagurian fins as well. Nice little bit of balance. So obviously when that Sumi starts to strengthen, you probably find in that bowl that Sumi's dropped off a touch as well.
Yeah.
A bit like it does with sort of like Kinky Atsuri. So yeah, looking for 50 quid to get this one going, guys. If anyone's involved, please let us know. Have you got on the bandwagon yet, Joe, with Deutschfish, or are you still?
To be fair, I'm quite proud of myself that I got the varieties correct this week. I'm just.
We'll see.
That's about as far as I got. Yeah, I'm getting with Deutsche fish. To be honest, I'm just. Yeah, I'm getting there. I am getting there. Occasionally, I see some nice pieces. Like I can appreciate some of the Yamazaki Shisui that's been brought in this year.
Kawakami.
Kawakami Yamazaki. What am I on about? Kawakami. Yeah, some of them, are
Two
really
very
quite
different
nice.
ends of the spectrum.
But I guess it just comes with experiences. When you see good ones, they do look really good. But I don't really picture them when they're older either, because I've not spent any time like researching the varieties. Like I tend to like understanding development of them before I jump into buying one, and I just haven't got there yet.
Pretty sound advice, really, mate. That there's a good magazine that I know of that might help you with that.
That's very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good plug.
Lots of tips in there, mate. Yeah.
But no, I can appreciate like the with these. I quite like the with them being three different colours almost with the Shiroji, the Benny, and the Sumi. There's quite a lot of qualities to get right. Like one of the things I do like about Doitsu is if they're going to have that scale line down the spine. I quite like that to be quite, you know, for I don't know what the in line. I don't like it where it's a bit scatty. Whereas this one's, you know, there's no odd scales off to one side or anything like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Nice
it's just
dorsal as well, mate.
nice dorsal, yeah. That's something I've been trying to get better on the pictures when we're doing them, is try and get the dorsal like perfectly straight. But
It's
the
really,
amount of times
yeah.
I'll snap a picture and I'll go, "Wow, that's a perfect picture," and I'll look and the dorsal's over to one side and covering half the fish. It's really
The nuts
difficult.
thing is people probably don't realise how many parts of the koi you need to look at the same time to take a picture.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
pecs, mouth closed, operculum on the gills flat, tail straight, body straight, dorsal straight up. It's not easy, mate.
It's really not.
As
Especially because
you
some
found
fish
out.
react so differently in the
Yeah.
bowl as well. Some just instantly go into like a panic state, or some
Yeah.
of them just will just not be asked and they'll just sit on the bottom with the pecs like
I had the
on the
joy
floor.
of picturing some, you know, the bigger Omasako Shiros,
Oh yeah,
the male pond.
hard work males, aren't they?
Oh my days. Jeez. I mean, I like to think I'm a pretty chilled out guy, Joe, but wow,
Yeah,
they tested me to my limits. They did.
I
But
just don't. My bane is Karashigoi. Like
yeah,
we're picturing fish like the bane of my life is Karashigoi. They get really jumpy in a bowl, and you'd think they'd be the most chilled out of the varieties because they're so tame when it comes to feeding. But it's almost like they're more aware that they're in a bowl than any of the other fish.
I think it's you, mate.
Maybe it is, yeah.
So not a lot of movement on this. Looks like
No,
Crafty's taking this with a first bid. So yeah, we'll do the formalities. Going once, going twice. Sold, Crafty.
well done.
Fair play, buddy.
Perfect. So let's see what we've got here. Let's mix it up again. Go for something a little bit different. Another Doitsu fish, but a different variety.
Mm. So
See the. Sorry.
no, probably for for someone that's not overly familiar, a fairly meh kind of looking fish, but got to keep in mind this type of variety could transform rapidly. That's the type of Benny that we're looking for. Really thick. That's often one of the down issues. That's the wrong bad English.
Downsides.
That's the one. Yeah, it's been a long day, Joe. Long day. With them is that the Benny can be a little bit on the weak side, and then obviously once you start getting some food into them, it just dissipates and sort of breaks down, and you're left with sort of a Benny Komomru that doesn't really have too much attraction. We want that really sort of lustrous Benny style. Sumi, literally, it's going to come with time. You can see on the video there that you've got a little bit of lateral Sumi on the tail. Sort of caught a glimpse of it there on the other side. Hopefully, when it comes around now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just on
right at
that
the end.
tail. Again, just behind the gills as well, on the head. I have no concerns whatsoever moving forward that this is going to develop Sumi. And then at that point, what tends to happen is they sort of develop this real radical, sort of swirly, wavy sort of style pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But when that pattern's up, that's when the breeders sort of kill you with the price. So this is a good sort of beat the breeder, beat the dealer kind of fish, because there's some of, I've said it before, Benny Komomryu and Matsukawa Baki, they're probably one of a handful of varieties that you can genuinely sort of, the breeders just don't want to invest time in fish that they can't guarantee, or they have less chance of guaranteeing. So
Yeah.
it's often the case that they'll keep the ones with the good bodies and the ones that have got the potential to grow, but a lot slip through the net, pardon the pun, with these types of varieties. And time again, year on, year out, we generate and produce some exceptional Benny Komomryu as Nisai every year, without a doubt. And between Kawakami, Ikarashi, maybe a couple of other breeders, that they're the go-to breeders. Coda would be another one. So, yeah, my opinion, super little fish, nice little body line for a Deutsch fish as well. So, yeah, nothing to not really like about it in terms of progressing it forward.
Yeah, I think it's not really demonstrated in the picture or the video very well. I remember this fish because of the in the bowl of fish that we had selected from for the auctions. This one was probably the most powerful body of all the Deutzu varieties, but it has got like a deeper hue on the head that I don't know whether it is still the skin thickening, but I presumed it was underlying sumi, and you can just see it like on the shoulder, just to its right hand side of its head, just on the shoulder. It is coming, and it is showing there. So it could be one in a different conditions where the sumi comes up in a really
now they've been taken off heat and food. Obviously,
yes.
it's not the most idyllic sumi development scenario when you're pounding fish with food and have them at sort of best part of 30 degrees. So
No.
yeah, that's, I would expect in your normal scenario, like domestic style pond, for it to develop sumi a lot quicker. So yeah, it's just a case of sit back and wait now with this one.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. Everything else is in proportion. It has quite a large head. You know, fins are all looking nice. You know, just needs a bit of time. I mean, I don't know really much about Kumonryu. There's so many times where you've shown me a fish and I've looked at it and I thought, oh, don't really know why we're keeping that. And then you've gone, well, you know, you need to see this here, and you'll show me like where the sumi's showing it's going to come. And I guess I need to see more like finished examples when they actually come around and have got that
Yeah.
sumi up.
So this is probably on first appearance maybe a bit underwhelming, but as with all koi, you're purchasing something for years to come. So obviously at the point that the sumi is up and all showing and all flashy and everyone goes, oh, I want that one, it's not this price point,
Yeah.
So these are the only real opportunities to pick up these little sort of seemingly, I mean, I still quite like it as it is, but I know that the skin's good, the body's good. The sumi coming in the future is just a bonus. If and when it develops on the head and along that lateral line, you've got this nice swirly sort of combination of pattern with great skin, and then that generates the contrast that we're looking for with Komomryu as well, Benny Komomryu.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice little piece all around, really, for me, but not the most obvious one. But I have got a bit of a soft spot for Komomryu and Benny Komomryu, so I have. Yeah, I must admit I've had my fair share of seeing them develop.
Yeah, I can tell you've got a soft spot for them. You seem to be quite passionate about them when you see a good one over other varieties, I'd say.
I just think they're. I'll never forget. Sort of got taught a lesson when I was young. Just started off, and you try and sort of select a few fish for customers, and specifically remember him picking ones based on is from a breeder called Aoki Mizaki, and a breeder who I didn't really have any knowledge of at the time, but he had a load of cool Komomryu, and I thought, oh, that'd be wicked to have a couple of boxes of Komomryu. And I'm picking all the obvious heavy pattern ones that sort of, yeah, bad bodies, but heavy patterns. And I'm going, oh, Komomryu means dragon fish. It should have this wavy lateral pattern. And this guy's just selecting all the white ones with the big heads. And yeah, he went on to win quite a good award with it in 2 or 3 years' time at the National. Quite a famous, well, I say quite famous as far as Komomryu go, mate, at the National, which is probably not very far, but he came back to me, and obviously at that point, that far on, I remembered it for a long time, and I was like, yeah, I was a bit naive there. That was me buying fish on what I see now today, not buying fish for future years to come. Which I think is easy, isn't it? We're all a bit guilty of it. You know, those pretty little fish, they don't always make the best bigger fish.
No, well, I'm hoping I've done. You know, that's the whole hobby, though, isn't it? You hope to take a gamble with something and beat the dealer, beat the breeder. I think that's what the hobby's all about for me.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Yeah. Everyone likes to pick up a bargain, mate. I don't care who you are. Like, even if you're Elon Musk, I'm sure he likes to buy cheap batteries when he can.
Second-hand Duracell or something like that.
Well, I don't know, second-hand, but yeah. So it looks like Colin's nudged this one out, mate. So should we do the formalities on this? Paul, if you're still in, let us know, buddy. Maybe roll that video one more time, Joe, and we'll try and wrap this one up, buddy. Yeah. So we're Colin at 80 quid at the moment. Looking for 85 to keep this one alive. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Colin.
Well done.
Happy days, mate. Coming down my neck of the woods.
Let's go for another Benny Kiko.
So again, probably mentioned quite a bit about this variety already. Does sort of like almost like two different styles at the farm. So you have this sort of quite dark, intense example that was a bit more akin to the previous one, and then more of this sort of sparsely lighter style, but they do eventually start to darken. So a bit more prominent Sagoke. This is that sort of Deutz lateral scale line that you get along the shoulder of the fish. Something that you were sort of mentioning earlier, Joe, that you quite like to see it, like lines with most Kikurio varieties, etc. That's quite an important feature. Same with like Shisui, that is a technical attribute to the fish. Not the be all and end all. I certainly wouldn't let it, if you fed in love with a fish and perhaps there was a scale slightly out or anything like that, I wouldn't sort of, unless you're paying big money for it, don't chase perfection too much, because you might have to make compromises. So yeah, all in all, tidy little fish. You're going to notice with this one, obviously you can see the well-defined pattern along the side as that body mass increases. You're going to view more of that lateral pattern along the top of the fish. So nice sort of luster on the head. Yeah, all in all, tidy little fish really for this sort of price point.
Yeah, the last one was very dark, wasn't it? It had a lot of sumi up and showing, whereas this one, I think the sumi is only just starting to come on the head and around the shoulder region. I quite like the kind of wavy Benny style along the side of the fish. I guess it would look pretty good through a window. And like you say, down the dorsal, that scale line is really kind of, you know, um, well proportioned. Like the scales are all similar size, so quite a nice feature that.
So you, like I say, it's kind of got two styles on the farm. One of them, sumi, comes up quite quickly on the skin, and then on this style, you sort of see it just building on that white skin towards the back of the fish. Bit more of a slow burner. You'll probably see it darkening on the head as well, but obviously at that point it generates a little bit more contrast as well. So yeah, tiny little fish for this sort of price point at the moment. If we've got any movers, Kevin, I see you came in with a bid fairly early doors. If you're still involved, please let us know. If not, we'll move on. So now we've got a few to get through, Joe.
Yeah, another 11 fish.
11 fish, mate.
But no, nice selection of fish tonight. A little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And like I say, for the purists, the Go Sankey is always going to be the overriding variety. You know, that's Sankey, Sankey Showa, Kahaku, Shiro to a degree, chucking Goshki as well. But yeah, there's a big world of hobbyists out there, and yeah, got to try and tick the boxes for everyone, haven't we?
Yeah, of course.
So it looks like Crafty's on his own here with this one. So
Yeah.
we'll do the formalities, Joe. So with Crafty at 55, go in once, go in twice. Sold Crafty, 55 quid. Another nice little stock piece there for the shop.
Yeah, nice. So let's move on. Should we chuck a Goshki in? Should we do a Goshki? Let's go with this one.
So another strong point for this farm, Goshki. Quite a bit of sort of Kuro style Goshki. So this is where you get that dark background. You get this sort of high contrast, which generally speaking, you know, when I get it quite a lot, or I certainly used to get it quite a lot, when people go, "You got any Goshki?" and they would show me a picture of a Goshki that's got jet black skin and the brightest style Benny.
Okay.
Sorry, just reading a message down there. So yeah, it's one of those ones where the Benny plate is there. You can see how vibrant it is at a young age. Then we just got to sit back and wait for that sumi style to sort of form, and obviously hope that it doesn't encroach too much on the Benny plate. So yeah, tiny little fish for this sort of price point. Probably an ideal fish for sort of grow on project for the rest of the season, maybe over winter. Oh, I can't believe I even mentioned the word winter.
I know. It doesn't even feel like we've got through summer yet, but we're nearly there, aren't we? But no,
I don't know whether you can hear because I'm up. I've got like I'm up in the top of the house, and the rain is absolutely smashing it down.
wow. Yeah, no, it's been heavy here as well. But no, I liked this fish. I remember when we had it in a selection of other fish that we was choosing for the auction, and I don't know why, but like it just has this, you know, that head pattern that transitions towards the dorsal. It kind of looks like somebody's kind of slapped it on with a marker pen, like they've scribbled it on. It looks like it's graffiti almost. It's got like a really cool. I don't know. It just had a different perspective in person. I thought it just looked. I don't know, not like a real fish. It looked like a a bit cartoonish. I don't know what the right word is I'm looking for, but
Wow, yeah, that is what a description that is, mate.
Well, you've got the logic now. I guess a lot of
I know
people
what you
might
mean,
look
mate.
at this and would say their head colour's a bit like different, maybe not consistent, but I think it's only just starting to darken, isn't it? That's the thing, and at such a young age, I'd expect that head to go almost pitch black from my experience.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing some chat all about Alpha Grog there in the
I
background.
know I've been distracted reading it as well.
Yeah, let's get back to the fish. But I think where you're describing the pattern, those intricacies are going to be a bit more prominent as the fish gets bigger, and that sumi style starts to form as well. So it's going to
Yeah.
add a little bit more contrast.
Mm.
So yeah, tiny little fish, goshki, always popular. Let's roll the video one more time, Joe.
Yeah, I'm shocked at this one. I thought this one would go a bit higher, just because this one has.
It's
For me,
holidays, mate. People are on their hollybobs.
well, to be fair, I think
enjoying the weather.
I think we are a bit down on viewership this week, so perhaps people are on holiday. You might be right. We haven't got the Ricky S factor, have we? The Stoddart factor.
He's here in spirit, mate. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that, boy.
Oh dear. Nah, yeah. Another couple of nice goshkis after this that I think people will like, but yeah, 50 quid. I consider this one a decent snip.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Looks like Dave, I know he's had a few off of us, he's out on his own with this one. So, Richard, how are we doing, Richard? So I did find out where I'm going to, Richard. Richard was found out that I was going to Cornwall, and then said if I'm where am I going, he'll hit me up with all the good places. So I'm going to a place called Loo, Looe. So yeah, if there's any good bars around there, let me know.
You won't have chance. You'll be too busy looking after kids, 100%.
I know, mate. Yeah, I know.
Fool yourself.
It's a nice thought, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
wow.
yeah, looks like Richard's going to take this one, 55 quid. Yeah, what a bargain that is. Wait for this video to finish one more time. Dave, if you're with us and still up to date, then please let us know.
Goshki has usually been popular on these auctions as well, so.
Oh wow, Beyond Paradise is filmed in Loo. And weirdly, the writer, Tony Jordan, is a good friend of mine, and I did not know that. So yeah, how bizarre. Oh, we're turning into a travel show now. Richard, David, you're supposed to be bidding on koi.
I think the real question is, did they use Alpha Grog in that film?
I don't know.
I think we've missed something about Alpha Grog.
Yeah, I must have missed something, mate. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's been available. I don't know. I'm a bit out of the retail game, mate. So yeah, but yeah, back to koi. Looks like Richard's got this one. I'll go and I wonder whether I could hand deliver it as well.
Oh, like the T-shirt. Oh, what's it? No, the magazine. That isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was classic. That was.
I still haven't received my T-shirt yet. Do I get hand delivery on that?
Then? Well, it got gifted to you, and it's at the office. So no, you can go and get it yourself.
Blow my neck. Yeah,
Think of the carbon footprint of that. If I've then got to send it out to your house,
I thought Ricky might hand deliver it. Yeah.
not to you, mate. No, I don't think so.
Oh dear. Never mind.
So yeah, we'll finish this one at 55, I think, mate. Absolute banger.
Right.
Going once, going twice. Sold to my main man,
Wow.
Richard. 55
Well
quid.
done, Richard. That's a snip. That's a good one. That.
Yeah, happy days. What we got next, mate?
Let's do. What have we got? Something a bit different. Deutz Kajaku.
So yeah, we've got quite a striking sort of head style pattern on this, haven't we? A slightly extended ray in the pectoral fin, but again, it's marginal and it's price orientated. It's probably one of those fish that, you know, the Aragoke style fish that we had a lot of, with this sort of big armored style scales, sort of quite akin to that, isn't it? And it's one of those sort of varieties that, yeah, they are a bit Marmite, but people that like them, especially when they get bigger, those scales sort of start having a bit more of an impact. People with windows as well, mate.
Yeah, I think you know, the main thing I'm looking at it with this is just like it's a nice colourful piece, isn't it? I'm not, you know, you can sometimes be too over technical. Maybe myself and you, we see so many fish like on the farm that, you know, it's difficult for us to like, you know, appreciate every single one of them. But sometimes just a nice to put up a variety we don't often have at the farm, up on the auctions, and if anyone wants it, we can sell it,
Yeah,
can't we?
but to be fair, not every fish in people's pond has to be show sort of standard, and it's probably reflected a little bit in the price point.
Yeah.
There's sort of intricacies within fish that don't have to be the most technical of attributes.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, you could probably pick up a fish that's quite attractive without a massive price tag on it. So yeah, just having a few private messages coming in. I think we've got a little bit of a lag, mate, but that is the name of the game, I'm afraid.
Yeah, YouTube takes a bit of time to come through to us, to be fair.
So yeah, it looks like Crafty's on his own with this one, mate.
Yeah, I'll play the video again.
Picking up a little bit of stock for the shop, no doubt, or customers in mind.
Yeah, not a common variety again that I've seen many of on the farm.
No, probably not on the farm. I mean, there's a few farms that produce them, but yeah, they're sort of real good ones. Jeez, yeah, you don't see too many of them, mate. So
No.
yeah. So with Crafty, I think looks like he's on his own on this one, mate. So 50 quid. Go in once. Go in twice. Sold to Anthony. 50 quid.
That's 3 tonight. Right, moving on. So we've got another Benny Kikakuru. This one a bit more, I think, will interest people because this one's a bit more weird and wonderful, isn't it?
Bit more striking, mate, isn't it? This is another sort of trait or style from this particular farm. Yeah, sort of bold sort of coloration. Ironically, you can find that the sumu with this style can regress a little bit, actually almost unfolding a bit more Benny as well. So that's sort of like the hope with these is that the sumu will form away from the Benny plates, actually start to reveal. You see that really luminous style Benny that's sat underneath that sumi currently, and you can see the darker areas. So if you were to, in an ideal world, strip back that sumi, it would actually offer up quite a nice Benny pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it in those darker tones. It's just where the Sumi's sat on top of it at the moment. So yeah, if it does recede a little bit and a bit of regression occurs with the Sumi, that's going to open it up a little bit. Yeah, it's only going to enhance the look of the fish. So yeah,
I quite like the Benny along the scale line in the scales. Sorry, the Benny on the scales along the spine. God, I don't know why I struggled to get that out so much, but yeah, that was.
You got a 1-year-old that doesn't sleep, Joe.
I don't know. I mean, maybe my wife's put vodka in the water bottle or something, but I'm struggling with my words tonight. Who knows? But yeah, I like this one, and with the Benny on the head, it's kind of like a blood moon with clouds in front of it. Assume it.
Wow,
There you go.
you sound like a
Artistic.
toy dealer there, mate.
No, it's a nice feature, is that? I mean, if that was a kahaki, we'd call it marathon, wouldn't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, call it what you want, mate. Yeah, funny enough, from this breeder, years ago, I used to have quite what's the word? Enigmatic, lunatic would probably be the best word. Boss, and he was obsessed with like weird and wonderful koi, and I was at Ikarashi, and there was like basically what he was calling a butterfly tancho, and I was like, what? And there was a word, I can't remember the word. I'll remember the word if he says it, but he was like, only one in the world, only one in the world. It's basically a tancho style Benny Kiko that the tancho spot had sort of broken down and left like a butterfly, literally like two wings like that. And,
Oh wow.
yeah, my boss was like, yeah, gotta have it. And yeah, we bought it, and yeah, obviously immediately someone was like, oh my God, there's a butterfly on that koi. It's sold for obscene amount of money. But yeah, it's yeah, God rest his soul. He was an interesting character. Yeah, Colin, probably remember Clive, bit of a maniac, but yeah, what a character that guy was. So yeah, it looks like Crafty's got another one here, mate.
Yeah, wow. So we're at
I
50
just had a
quid, guys.
customer message me saying, "I remember that fish."
There you go.
So yeah, another one going to Crafty, mate. By the looks of it.
I'm surprised this one's not been more popular as well. Out of the Benny Kiko we've had so far, this was my favourite. But eyes in the. What is it? Oh God. Honestly, I'm just gonna give up. I'm not having a good time tonight, am I? I don't know. It is what it is. Love is in the eye of the beholder, or something like that.
Is there something you need to share with the group, or?
I'm just ready for a holiday, honestly.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Cracking dorsal, by the way.
Oh, I mean, look at that. You can't get straighter than that, can you, Chris?
You can't get straighter than that, mate. You could lay bricks with that, mate.
Oh dear.
Unbelievable. Right. Yeah, this one's going to Crafty. 50 quid. Next one.
Well, right. Bloody neck, that was quick. Hang on. I hadn't even had a chance to write down who won that one. Right, so now this one is a bit different.
Come on, the town.
Should we just call this one as Crafties for 50 quid?
I hope not. This is probably one of those variety. This is sort of like that sort of Kikurio sort of esque style fish, but obviously with that base color, having that sort of darker property to it, and that tone of color. And it is a variety that the farm does produce, this Deutsch Kagano. So it's basically like a Deutsch metallic, a Chiba, you get these fabulous sort of brassy tones, and much like a Chiba in general, this sort of tone of color will fluctuate and change through the year. So sometimes the lighter skin will go a bit darker, and then the more brassy color areas will go a little bit lighter as well. I think the video probably does it more justice. You really see that sort of metallic luster.
I was quite surprised that it's actually got a Chiba in this. I mean, obviously not with the Benny, but the actual color of the rest of the body is so pearly white, which is uncommon to find on Doitsu varieties. You know, even
Developmental thing. Again, see this in different temperature points as well,
right.
and also moving through the development process, that skin will often darken quite a bit, mate. So you'll get this sort of tone to it that is not so Kiko-esque, if you will. So yeah, probably, like I say, Key and King sort of Kiko sort of style fish is something that the farm sort of put on the map. So it's probably a very fine genetic connection between them. So hence why they have that sort of similarity. So
yeah.
But yeah, really, really nice little fish. Really tidy body line as well. I don't know whether that's something that is been noted by a lot of people, but it's something that I always look for with Deutsch fish as well. There's nothing worse than sort of getting this sort of chubby style body, is there?
Yeah, I put this as a Kiko.
I wasn't saying that about you, that Joe. You sort of
No.
paused there when I said that.
No, I originally put this down as a Kiko. That's what I put it down as. I thought it was a dark variety of a Kiko, but you can see that Ochiba coloration in the almost like the Shiroji. I don't know what you'd call it, but that scale line is a feature for me. And
Yeah.
you know, the edging of the colors is really prominent, but it's just a long fish in general. Usually I tend to see Doitsu fish as like short and stubby sometimes, whereas with this it's quite just a long fish. I just think it needs a bit of growth, a bit of body development.
I see the reminiscence of Deutsch Kogane a lot more in the video. But yeah, nice Sagoke, this dorsal line of scales, really tidy. Yeah, people call it like that zipper. It's really, really well formed. Nice saddle pattern as well, just the way around the door. But, again, don't try not to chase patterns too much. Very high quality skin luster. Nice body line, nice body structure as well. So yeah, to be honest with you, you're not going to find too many examples like this around this sort of price point.
Yeah, nice fish. You sound like you want to be in the Dorsal Appreciation Society with all this praise of that dorsal, Chris, to be fair. You can always apply if you'd
like. I like a dorsal as much as the next guy, but you can't be the next guy because you have got a weird fetish about them.
Oh dear, honestly.
So, David Bramwell, possibly looking at another one to his collection, 70 quid. I think that's an absolute snip.
Crafty in again at 75.
We're looking for 80. I was expecting this one to easily march into 100 plus sort of. Even sort of tempted to start this at 100 quid because you just don't come across too many of them, especially of this sort of standard with that sort of luster.
No, I'm shocked at this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, it's the name of the game, mate, isn't it? You know,
Mm.
we put the fish out there. We absolutely eat, live, and drink koi, but you know, for everyone, it's the realities of life pop up every now and again. Obviously, I know we're both off on our hollybobs as well, so yeah, sometimes all about timing koi.
Yeah.
Always. Whether you're in Japan, whether you're at a dealership, whether you're at a koi show, all about timing.
Mm.
You know, one day one breeder's tatigoi will be the for sale fish the next day. You know, but one day they were his absolute best and keepers. It's just the way it goes. That's the koi world for you. So currently with Crafty at 85, still a snip.
Yeah, bargain.
Play that video. Where's the video? That don't add another fiver. I don't know what will.
100 with David Bramwell.
Well done, Dave. Still well worth it, mate.
There was a fish for sale exactly the same as this at Newark last year. 500 quid, 35 centimetres. Guess you just got to have a bit of foresight. I mean, obviously, you know, it's difficult to, you know, compare, but this one is a bit more of a gamble because it's a little bit smaller and whether or not it'll hold the pigment as it grows, and you know, there's so many variables at play with that, isn't there?
Yeah, obviously reflected in the price as well, isn't it? You know, it's I don't see too many gambles with a variety like with an example such as this of this sort of quality. You can see the contrast, the depth of pigment is there. Nice body line, good body structure. So yeah, fairly for this sort of price point, it's a good investment, I think, mate. But yeah, Colin's right. You know, bigger Nisai versions, they're not that easy to come by, and the good ones do fetch a few quid. And there are a few different styles of them as well. So I remember Hirasawa has a different style of Deutz Kagane Achiever, like quite different. But yeah, they're one of the same. So yeah, interesting variety.
Right, should we look to wrap this one up or play the video again? Give Crafty time to decide if he wants a fifth fish of the evening. Crafty out.
Dave, happy days. I like this one, mate.
Yeah.
Good purchase. So going once, going twice. Sold, Dave. 100 quid.
Well
Happy
done.
days.
Nice fish.
Like that, yeah.
Right, let's have a look. What can we do next? It's like pick and mix this. I love it. Let's do this one. I think this one's going to be fairly popular just because of the head pattern in itself.
Again, same style Goshki. You're looking for that deep body style, that deep Sumi style forming just between the head and the shoulder there. When that comes with a belly plate like that, it's just, yeah, happy days. It's just, yeah, big belly plate, lots of contrast, and then, yeah, just a little bit of character. It goes a long way, doesn't it, with some of these fish that don't go for sort of big money. Okay, not the most technical of attributes to have, you know, funky head patterns, but, you know, funny enough, I just done an article about head patterns, and yeah, it really it is a focal point. There's no denying it. It really is. And obviously, once that Sumi pops up, that's just going to be on a different level. It's going to transform that Benny that's already of very good quality. So, yeah, I can just picture this one, bit bigger, bit darker. Yeah, game on.
Yeah, again, there's very different style to the last one. The last one had a lot more underlying sumi than this one. I think this one, the Benny's not as affected as the last one with the underlying sumi. Like the Benny looks, so pure. And I think on the video, them little patches of scales just after that second down look a lot stronger on the video than maybe the picture gives it credit for. I just think this is a nice piece, and I think as it grows out, it could, that head pattern will look even better as the face fills out. Nice little fish, that.
Yeah, I mean, it just needs that sumi style to start coming through and getting that goshki trait really popping. So yeah, one of the crucial things with goshki is making sure that Benny plate is of a good standard and consistency throughout the fish. Once you got that, the sumi structure and that sort of grey, depending on what goshki style you've got and what breeder you're getting it from, is going to develop. It's just at what speed and intensity that does come. So yeah, particularly goshki, I mean, the farm's relatively soft, but in comparison to like down my neck of the woods, they're a fish that can transform in quite a short amount of time. And I guess where are you? Pontefract?
Yeah, Pontefract. I get quite high pH, KH, GH.
Yeah.
But I've had one goshki that I actually think originally came from Koi Wholesale, to be fair, before I even knew who Ricky was. And that one's changed over the years. Like it took time, but it's only starting to go darker now, as it goes into like Sansai. It's only small, but it's taken a lot of time to make an adjustment, even with high GH.
I mean, again, probably not a variety in high demand for its size, but more its sort of beauty, really, isn't it? They're a really striking variety. So yeah. Looks like Crafty's out on his own again with that bid. He's gone a bit heavy on that one. So yeah, unless anyone else is with us, we're at 95 quid. Looking for 100. Play the video one last time.
Yeah.
Again, just when you get that big block of sumi sat between that sort of smudged dot on the nose and that big Benny plate behind the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to transform the fish quite nicely, mate.
Yeah.
So 95 quid. If anyone's still interested, say now for I've hold your piece. We are at 95 quid, going once, going twice, sold.
Crafty Koi again.
What we got next, mate?
Let's go. So we have got, let me just see. Sorry.
Sorry, mate.
Bear with me. This little fish. Another Benny Kiko.
This is probably a bit more akin to what I would think of in my head from this particular farm with this Benny Kiko. High degree of contrast, that really bright, vibrant Benny, coupled with that sort of dark, intense sumi style. Bit chunky at the front, again. Pond fish, would you say? I don't know what makes a show fish per se. I get a bit miffed with it sometimes, but yeah, just an attractive, sort of colourful window style fish, I think, mate. I don't know whether that's just me, Joe, but nothing came out of your mouth there.
Sorry, I've got a bad cough, so I keep muting my mic. I forgot to unmute it. I was just thinking the coloration on the head on this one. It's got like a white, really deep white background compared to like some of the other Benny Kikos we've had tonight, and the colours on this one are fairly further along. I'd say that, you know, in terms of like the sumi on the head, it's a bit more readable. Yeah, obviously a bit more stumpy towards the front, as you've mentioned. But again, unless you're looking to grow something onto like huge jumbo sizes, or, you know, if it's not a big consideration for yourself, then, you know, you can probably pick up a snip here for, you know, at the moment, 50 quid.
Yeah, not bad at all, mate. So we've got the video on the go.
Yeah.
So I never forget when I entered that fish house for the first. You see all these weird and wonderful Deutsch metallics. It is a real sight to behold.
Yeah. I do like a pond full of weird and wonderfuls, I have to say.
And he is one of the go-to guys for them. Real tidy little. Got quite a cool sort of Nisai fish house, where it's sort of like I don't know, describe it as one big pond that's sort of just divided.
Yeah.
You just sort of like jump from pond to pond. But yeah, in the winter it can be quite cold, so you don't want to fall in, which I did dip my toe in ever so slightly one time. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You dipped your toe in. I'm finding that hard to believe, Chris. You're not telling me that you fell in full on.
Didn't
You
fall in,
disguised it.
dip my toe.
You are quite a tall guy with a lot of muscle. I'm thinking one of them wooden beams.
Thanks for adding that last bit, Joe. Yeah, you forgot powerful and rugged as well.
You're about 6'4".
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's yeah.
You're not a small bloke, and them little Japanese beams are only meant for little
Oh no, they're not
Japanese men.
beams. They're like the struts of the pond.
Oh right, okay, I see what you
But
mean. Yeah,
yeah,
to knock over a concrete strut would be that would be a feat.
no. But I have honestly, mate, when you're walking on those wooden planks, yeah, when you're sort of my height and my
Yeah.
build, it is sort of like, oh wow, is this gonna go? Because they do bow
They do
like
flex. Yeah.
that. But yeah, fun and games. I'm gonna say this one's crafties, mate.
Okay.
Unless anyone wants to say anything.
Yeah, not a lot of bidders tonight.
Holidays,
There we
mate.
go. How many is that for crafty now? 6. Come on, guys. You can't have them all. Right.
Oh,
Let's do.
right at the death.
Christ. Right. Alan, 55.
Trying to find the video now. Back up my eyes. Don't work.
I'd almost finished typing in Crafty's name into the winners list.
Do you know what, Joe? Since you've joined, I feel like my eyesight has gone downhill.
How do you mean?
Well,
I
I've
can't.
never sort of questioned. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying, like, I've never thought about my eyesight until you said that your eyes are playing up. And ever since that point, I was like testing myself whilst driving, sort of thing. And I was like, maybe I'm going to have to get glasses. I'll put it off for a bit longer.
Yeah, I joined Koi Wholesale and I was getting really bad headaches and I didn't know why. I was like, And a couple of people had said to me, like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Why? What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're looking at me like this." And I was like, "Oh," so I didn't realise I was doing that. And yeah, when I went to the opticians, they said that my eyesight, it was so bad that it was illegal for me to drive.
So Joe
So
sent me a video of what he sees when he drives, and yeah, I took his keys off of him immediately. It was unbelievable, but it really sort of stood out, mate, when you were trying to catch fish in an empty pond.
yeah, he's having you on there. It's not that bad, to be honest, but
Hey,
just go to
never
explain
let
why I
the
thought.
truth get in the story, mate.
Oh, well done, Alan. Winner on that one. Crafty's out.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
at least we haven't sold them all to Crafty tonight. Right, so another Goshki. A little bit different again. This one, Sumi development's much further on than the others.
Yeah, the interesting thing is the depth of Sumi in the pectoral fin as well.
Didn't
So
know that.
that's always a little bit of indicative of that Sumi potential when you see it forming in that lesser tissue, particularly with young fish. That's why, like, you know, with like Sankey and Showa and, you know, examples that have got Sumi in it, when you just see that Sumi forming in the fins at a young age, it's quite indicative of, you know, there's a strong potential Sumi structure within parts. Because if it's forming on quite a thin tissue layer, like the pectoral fins, particularly on a young fish, then yeah, it's generally speaking, it's a rule of thumb, you know, and rules of thumb are there to be broken, but it's yeah, a good starting point for gauging Sumi potential and development.
Yeah, I do pay attention to it in like Sankey, Showa, you know, them main varieties, but I never considered it in Goshki, to be fair. So I don't know why that is. Yeah, Benny's so vibrant on this as well. Just that contrast with the Goshki is the main thing, isn't it? Having vibrant Benny and strong Sumi. So you know, this has definitely got that.
Yeah, pattern structure is a bit more textbook as well, isn't it? You've got that sort of Maritime S at the front, and then you got those sort of lateral intricacies of that second belly step. And again, without doing my favourite sort of hand movement, that's it, Joe. You're going to see these intricacies along that belly line. You see, if when you look at it at the moment, Joe, it might sort of just appear as a bit singular dimensional, but obviously as that mass improves, those intricacies are going to be more apparent. So again, things like this need to be aware of when you're looking at sort of pattern development as well.
Yes, yeah. I think, you know, that's with this one in particular. If you look on that right hand side of the fish, it's got almost a really nice edging to the Benny as well. Like it's almost a straight line, which will be, again, as you mentioned, it'll be really nice and pronounced when that body comes up around the sides.
You sort of see in the video, you get a bit with the light catching it. You see the sort of the Benny attribute as well. It's a bit more prominent. I know it's a bit difficult with younger fish, isn't it, to overexpose the pictures sometimes. So that's why we always try and play the videos as well.
Yeah, I think the videos are more in terms of like what your eye sees, and the picture is more of you know, sometimes the camera picks up things that your eye wouldn't see straight away because it's so, I don't know, so in depth that sometimes you know, in your pond, if you've got a pond fish, you're not gonna be looking at it. So I don't know what the you know, if I took a picture of my fish and looked really in depth at the picture of some of my fish in my pond, I'd be moving half my collection on, because that's the way I am. I'm a stickler for detail, and if I see something, so one of my best Asagis has got a shimmy on it, one of its anal fins, like right underneath. And it drives me nuts every time it goes by the window. But when I go out to the auto feed and chuck a few kibbles in, I'm like, oh, that's actually a really nice fish. And then look at it through window, and I'm like, that bloody shimmy, drives me mad. You know, so it's like sometimes with the camera, sometimes you might see something from a picture, but when it's actually swimming around in your pond, you know, you're very unlikely to notice it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still banned from having a pond, so Yeah.
one day.
Well, I really did fuck up the garden last time. Even I admit that. So yeah. Now I've got 2 kiddies here. Yeah, it's probably more likely to get a paddling pool than an actual pond, mate. So yeah.
It's not worth it anyway. Ricky doesn't give you prices on out. I thought I'd be in for mates rates. I don't even get mates rates.
Everything's mates rates, mate. So,
yeah, right.
oh wow, this is Martin. Wow, that is a young-looking Martin there. I was sort of like thinking Steve Martin, and then yeah, realised it's Martin from Clark's. Young, dapper-looking Martin there. So yeah, with Martin at 85. Run the video one more time. Cracking little fish.
Yeah, I like this one.
Call it after this video runs out. So looks like Martin's going to take this one. Go in once. Go in twice. Sold to Martin.
Well
Happy
done.
days. Nice little fish, mate. Well done.
So we're on to the last 3 fish of the evening and the last Benny Kiko. This
Nice
one,
dorsal.
I think. I mean, you're not going to get straighter than that, are you? Again, I'm impressed with my dorsal photography now. But no, I liked this one. I wanted to save this one till last, to be fair, because I think this one's got nice Benny, a nice zipper, nice body. I was actually quite impressed with like that metallic shine that it's got in the pecs. But then I guess all I'm looking for now is that sumi to come up on the body and the head, and it'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, it's the luster on the head that is drawing me in.
Yeah.
There's another breeder called Kaze that does like these metallic style Benny Komamryu, so they lack they sort of look metallic, but they've got transparent fins. They sort of have a metallic shine to them without actually being a metallic fish, if that makes sense.
All right. Yep.
This one kind of sits somewhere in the middle of those because the fins have got a real bizarre sort of shine to them.
It's like not like a reflection of the flash. It's actually a genuine metallic shine.
Yeah, obviously you see the Motoguru in the fins as well, forming nicely, and then again, yeah, just that sort of skin luster on that head, pretty epic.
Yeah,
you're going to get a bit more contrast as well. Again, with Benny Kiko, you can find that the sumi can regress a little bit as well, fall off of the Benny plates, which is what we always hope for. So reveal. That's why they can have quite a wild transition process as they get bigger, and often the younger ones don't. The younger attractive ones don't make the best older ones, and vice versa.
Yeah, I think I looked at this and I thought that the pigment on the head, opalescent pec fins, says Martin. Yeah, that's
yeah.
It is
Quite
like
a good description.
Yeah. I think the head is the skin on the head is still quite thin, I guess, because you can still kind of see through it in like the central bit and just before the kind of nostrils. But I just think that's going to be stunning when it's had time to thicken up and go that full white color.
It's the white skin behind it, the sort of base of the head, if you will. If that sort of color moves and progresses throughout that whole head, you're going to have a pretty contrasting style of pigment there. So
yeah.
Crafty's
had 3 of these already, so he's obviously seen something
Benny Kiko
in them.
King.
Benny Kiko King, yeah.
I'm not here to judge.
Oh dear, let's not get onto that topic.
yeah, let's get back to sweets. Let's just do sweets, guys.
It's got to be a wine gum, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind a wine gum. I'm not gonna lie. It's best part of a 7-hour drive on Friday, so I'm probably going to stock up on a few. So yeah, wine gums might have to be yeah.
I like the red and black ones though. You can get bags just to the red and black ones.
Christ, wow, what a world we live in.
That's my go-to.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
On this one, mate. Looks like Crafty's on his own.
I'm shocked at this one again. To be fair,
50 quid. If anyone's involved, please let us know.
I wonder how that fin effect will. I don't know whether it'll fade out or if it'll grow out. Real
Can I be
cool
honest with
feature.
you? I would struggle to call that one.
I'd love it to grow out because obviously the skin on the rays will only get thicker. I would imagine. So I don't think it'd fade out. I don't know. It's not
We'll
because that's
find out,
there
mate.
because they're so thin. I guess it's just only still developing. That'd be really cool if that grows out and it's got that head colour. 50 quid.
Only time will tell, mate.
You can see in that video though. You can see it.
So yeah, I think we move on to the penultimate one, buddy.
Sound. Are we calling that one for Crafter then? 50 quid.
I think so, mate. Yeah, absolute snip.
Oh. Right. When the video ends. Boom. I didn't know what to call this one either, to be honest. So I hope I got the variety correct.
There or thereabouts, yeah. Sort of key mat, Deutsch key mat. Yeah, it's pretty much, mate. Yeah, it's an oddity, that's for sure.
I always look at the head of a fish and go, well, what would it be if it was a scaled fish? And I thought, well, that's a key Matsuba head.
Yeah. So I had a breeder. I've never like seen people commonly referring to them, but this sort of style fish, sort of like gold complexion sort of thing, like Kingoi, Deutsch Kingoi. But again, it's yeah, one of those varieties that don't really see many like them. That's absolute wild. That pigment and that luster. That picture doesn't look real.
No, it doesn't, does it?
That's bizarre. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is. So yeah, probably.
The only we sold a really banging key Matsuba to Sunnybank Koi, and I think it's going to be in the magazine on one of the adverts. This magazine coming up.
I know the one. Yeah.
That is a banging Deutsch
That's
key Matsuba.
that's Aoki, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but this one hasn't got the sumi and the scales. Like, because I had a look at that one as
yeah.
reference, and the sumi on the scales on the one at Sunnybank is so jet black, whereas I don't know whether this one will develop it.
Well, it's obviously a much younger fish, different breeder as well, different style. So yeah, this is one of those sort of Deutsch Kawari kind of oddities, really. I must admit, I don't get too hung up on. I know a lot of people like to catch people out with varieties. It's not really my thing. But yeah, I think there's still sumi development to come in this fish. You can see it along the lateral line. You can see it throughout the fish, really, can't you?
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those unique, sort of funky looking fish that, yeah, could end up being something pretty striking, to be honest with you. I like the luster on the fish. You know, if you've got a Deutsch metallic fish, it's got to be bloody shiny, mate. You know, that's pretty high on the agenda. Nice body line. I mean, yeah, what's not to like? It's, you know, got the length. Probably just needs that body mass to fill out a little bit. Yeah, you see that shine along that backbone just before the dorsal. Kind of love that when the sort of shine on the fish really starts to pop. So yeah, I think it's quite an intriguing fish, mate.
Who knows what this could look like in future as well? Like, you know, it's one of them. I don't know what. It's just a unique piece, as you've already stated. I mean, it has the yellow of a Yamabuki. It has a head color, consistent. Nice pec fins in proportion. Yeah, the zipper's nice. Do you know I was speaking? I did an interview today for an upcoming magazine with Rick at New Forest Koi, and he was talking about some of the weird and wonderful fish that he breeds on the farm. And get this, one of the varieties he's looking to breed is a Ginrin Shusui Aragoki. How mad does that sound?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
How mad does that sound? I mean, that's impressive. But like, what would you call that other than that? I guess it would
I
have its
think it
specific
needs an
varieties.
abbreviation because that's like I'm not going to be able to fit that on the screen.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, how mad does that sound? It sounds. I mean, I want to see that. So
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That is. But a lot of the purists get a bit wound up with new varieties, but I think it's needed.
I'd not everything has to be on the show circuit, though, does it? It's like some people are going to saying, "How are you going to classify a golden corn?" It's like, well, who cares? Does it need a classification?
Well, the thing is, it's that age-old saying, mate, that sort of like the people that prop up the koi industry are about 99.9% of the general hobbyists. And as important as the shows are and showing koi, and we all want show standard koi, it represents quite a small part of the market. So from a pragmatic point of view, what counts is, what keeps the hobby afloat, and that is new varieties, inquisitives, anything that's a bit different. And I'm not saying it's not going to go full circle and it'll go back to Go Sankey again. You know what I mean? It's the way it's whatever's in vogue and whatever is doing the round in Japan. If Danichi, his Black Zeus and things like that, if they really start doing big numbers and winning big awards, then people are going to pay more attention to them because they're going to go, well, if a guy like Danichi is paying attention to them and he thinks they're worthwhile and marketable and of good sound investment, then yeah, maybe they're good enough for me.
Yeah, it's very true.
So should we get the video playing one last time, mate?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Currently with Paul at 85 quid. Nice body line as well.
This is one we need to see whoever buys this in a couple of years. It's really cool to see the Sakai Tosai that we've grown on.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was.
I think we need more people to.
And wow, wasn't it? Hasn't it done justice as well, mate?
Yeah,
That's the thing. But buying a fish with potential is one thing. Getting it out of the fish is a very different thing.
I just liked watching Ricky squirm, to be honest. I thought that were hilarious.
I thought at the time, that I could see I've got a vision with that fish. And yeah, it's similar with me with pectoral fins. I can't get past them. And Rick's always had a thing about sort of Benny in and around the tail. As do a lot of breeders, to be fair, when they're really sort of looking at that higher echelon of koi and sort of working out selection process. That pattern trait of a dome at the back of the fish is it's not the be all and end all, but it is quite important from a visual perspective, and particularly when the fish get bigger as well.
Yeah,
it just creates that transition from the body into the tail, rather than like it was described to me years ago by a breeder that if the color bleeds into the tail, it does that to the eye, whereas if it sort of stops, you then sort of it generates mass without generating mass, if that makes sense. And when you sort of look at fish that have got it and fish that haven't got it, particularly big fish, even if they've got a similar sort of body mass, visually it has an impact.
Mm.
It's like a visual trick of the eye.
Mm. I remember when I took the photo of that fish. I remember I put it in the bowl, and I was just so enthralled by it. I got my phone out and videoed it myself, and I sent it
Oh, okay.
to my wife and a few friends. I went, I actually can't believe he's releasing this.
Yeah,
And I said, why? And I did ask him. He like walked past me. I said, Ricky, why are you releasing this? He said, Benny and Tail.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, I'd have taken a gamble on that. But
It's
it's
also like at that time we probably had Sankey wise about 2,000 to select through at the farm,
oh, there's some
all of a very good standard.
yeah,
So again, it's a numbers game with koi. You know, you can't keep every fish,
yeah,
and if you
yeah.
did, you wouldn't have a business very long either.
And I think that's the thing with Ricky's business is he is incredibly good at picking fish and releasing the ones to be
he,
released and keep
that
them in
boy
good
can raise a fish like
100%.
no other. But I don't like to give him too many compliments, but he can raise a fish seriously well.
Yeah. Some of the fish some of the ponds I look at are so close to a knife edge as
Mm.
well with the feeding. Like I'm
It's,
going in and
it's a
I'm
skill.
I almost want to just be like, it's okay, fish. You're gonna make it. Just keep eating. You won't be released, I promise. Because
Well,
some
have
of
you seen
them,
the video? Have you seen the video on Facebook today?
no, I haven't.
The Sakai pond. You know, the one bottom on the right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
I
So
need to have a look at it.
yeah, that Benny quality.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, head over onto
Head
the
over
Boy
to
Wholesale Facebook page. Ricky was doing selection. I was gutted actually because there's a pond that I really wanted to be there when it happened because I've been watching it for ages, just going, oh my days, there's some absolute weapons in there. And today was the day, but yeah, couldn't be there. But is what it is. But we digress, mate, as I often do.
yeah.
Looks like Paul is on his own with this one. He's had no fire back for about 5 minutes now. So I think probably time to call this one, mate, and move on to
Yep.
the final fish. So,
Well done, Paul. We're
go,
really interested to see that.
yeah, 95 quid going once, going twice, and make sure you keep us posted with this one. Sold to Paul. Well done, buddy.
Well done.
See a bid come in there after I called it, Ben. Apologies. There is obviously a bit of a lag on here. So, yeah, we're going to have to go with what I saw on screen as I called it, I'm afraid. Last up then, mate.
Last one, yeah. I saved this one as being saved the best till last, to be fair, because I just thought this one. I like the last one. For different reasons that
Oh,
I like
wow.
this one. I think the photo is a good one on this, and I just thought that is a fish that I would personally raise. I just think it's got the
Yeah.
qualities that I'd look for in a goshki. Um, Obviously, you could say it's got a couple of scales here and there, but I'm thinking, the Benny quality. I really like the roundedness of that first down that's on the head as well. Nice head pattern, clean dorsal. Yeah,
Yeah.
just nice all round goshki. To be fair.
Yeah, I think it's Boschke, really difficult variety to produce in general. And I think
Mm,
if I think of sort of Goshki producing farms that only produce Goshki, they're few and far between. So this particular breeder, with his caliber of Goshki, he's very impressive considering the amount of varieties that he also specialises in.
mm,
Certain farms like Minima, Cano, for example, they although they do other varieties, their sole focus is on Goshki production. So yeah, to just sort of casually bosh out very good Goshki at will, in numbers is impressive trait, I must admit.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, there's not. Now you've mentioned it, I try to think of Goshki breeders, and I can only think off the top of my head about 3 or 4, and none of
There's
them are
quite a few that do Goshki in the mix per se, but perhaps not their focal point.
Yeah, yeah. See what you're getting at, yeah.
So I mean, a famous Goshki breeder would be, I don't know, Hiroi Koi Farm, for example, but he's also extremely well known for doing Ginrin Goshki, Deutsch Showa, Deutsch Sanki. So it's not a standout variety per se, but like farms like Minima, Kano, for example, that is their variety of choice.
But no, I can appreciate a good Goshki. I think I would say probably the hardest koi to read, scaled koi. I think these are harder to read than some Gosanki, harder to read than Asagi, harder to read than Shiro, Hyotsuri. I just think there's so much to get right with the Benny, and if it's going to be floating Bennies, if it's going to be Benny where you can see the scalation through. I just think there's so much with these to get right that they can be really hard to read and hard to understand. So
I
if I
think
see a good one,
with standing, obviously the obvious things like body line, skin characteristics is the Benny out of the two colours is the clincher for me, whether I sort of entertain or disregard the Goshki. That Benny's got to be good. Sumi, I don't really bother. It doesn't really bother me too much, to be honest with you. If I've got that depth of pigment on the Benny throughout the fish, and there's a consistency to it, then that sort of is, if I like the other attributes, then it's worth consideration. That's normally the bit that lets the fish down. So the rest of it, generally speaking, what do Goshki do? They get darker.
Yeah.
Very few Goshki break that rule.
Stay light.
Yeah. So obviously ensuring that the Benny is in good condition is paramount.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my little top tip for Goshki, notwithstanding the obvious things, of course.
Yeah. I just think there's probably more to them than a classic Kahaku in terms of picking a good one. Would you agree with that? Or a Showa or a Sanki?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably a harder variety to crack, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you see a good example at 65 centimeters, I'd give more credit to a koi keeper for raising a good one to that size than a Kahaki Sanki Showa, because
they're more easily attained, aren't they, in Go Sankey lineages, just because of the genetic side of things as well.
yes, yeah.
Goshki not exactly famed for getting massive, although Omasako playing his hand at Goshki as well, so no doubt they'll be sort of like
I didn't know that.
2 meters in size in the near future. So yeah, it's just where it's just where it's going to keep going, mate. The sizes are just going to keep being pushed and pushed and pushed. And where do you take Goshki next? They're about as red and as black as they can be. What comes next? It's always size. That's the next progression. So,
yeah, I think it's rare to see many over. I've only seen one in the flesh over 70 centimeters. I think it was a Tanjo that we sold. A stunning piece, actually. That. But yeah, that's the next step, isn't it? Size, and if Omasako crack that, that'd be
it won't just be him. It'll be
other breeders.
Yeah, but it's when you sort of get yeah, where do you take varieties at one point? You know, it's not as if you can go, right, I'm gonna reinvent the wheel with Goshki. Obviously, we know there's different styles of Goshki within that variety. It goes without saying. But the next step is always sort of size development. How big can we get them? How far can we push them? What's achievable? You know, and that's where sort of Shiros are nudging into that sort of go Sankey territory, because they can regularly get up to big sizes.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where a lot of other varieties just fall down because they can't nudge into those truly jumbo. And I'm talking like 85 plus CM. It's just not, obviously you've got your Kawari mono varieties, but I'm talking like patterns varieties like Goshki, like Kiyutsuri. Take, you know, take any sort of pattern variety like that that's really going to push up into those true jumbo sizes on a regular basis. Very hard, mate. Very hard.
Yeah.
So it looks like Ben's picking up a bit of a snip here, mate. 65 quid.
Yeah. Oh, well, I saved this one till the end because I thought it'd be probably the most expensive lot, to be fair.
Again, we had a big spend up last week. Massive thanks to everyone who supported us with the charity auction. Yeah, $4,500 for cancer research. That was just nuts. I think we were all a bit blown away with that. So thank you for everyone's support. I know bits and pieces are being sorted out in the office to get everything sent out to their designated addresses. So yeah, hopefully in the not too distant future you'll get all your bits and pieces. So yeah. Oh, Paul back in 70 quid.
Ben, do you want to let us know if you're still in, mate? Oh, Colin in at 75. We've got 3 people in all of a sudden.
We've got ourselves a freeway, Joe.
Oh dear. Oh, you do make me laugh, you.
I think you laughing at that says more about you than it does me, Joe.
Oh dear.
Yeah, again, Colin, near my neck of the woods. Unfortunately, from the wrong part of North London, the white part. Remember, North London is red. We're playing tonight, actually. Got a friendly.
Pressure's on Arteta now. Spent a bit of money.
I know, we're the biggest spenders in the transfer market this year.
You've got to do something now, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Yeah.
And you've got to play Champions League games as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem, mate.
And play the mighty Luton Town as well.
Well, I've accepted we're going to drop points at the Kenny. It's just not going to happen. Arteta is not going to enjoy going to Kenilworth Road, mate. I can guarantee you that.
Oh dear. I actually think he's starting to go a bit grey now. He hasn't gone grey in ages until he started managing Arsenal, has he?
Well, I think supporting Arsenal does that to you. So I imagine what like managing Arsenal does, mate. I think, it's the hope that kills you, Joe. That's what I always say. Touche.
Honestly.
So it looks like Paul's got this one, mate. Should play the video one last time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, banging fish for 80 quid that.
Yeah. Ben back in at 85. So what's going to happen next week? I don't think either of us are here next week, are we?
No, we'll probably keep everyone posted with that one. I think we've got some bits lined up, but just whether we've got the personnel, obviously, probably unbeknownst to people, there's a lot that goes into sort of producing these little sort of hour and a half sort of little episodes, isn't there, mate? So
Yeah.
we'll keep everyone posted on social media with that one. So oh, schoolboy, mate, unbelievable. Just let us know. So yeah, it looks like Ben's going to take this one, 85 quid, going once, going twice, sold for 85 quid.
Well done.
Awesome. So I can still hear my little girl screaming downstairs, mate. So I better go and give the wife a hand. Could be another long night. So yeah, thanks as always, everyone, for your support. And yeah, I know it's a bit slower tonight, but still good viewing figures. So hopefully people enjoyed it. A little bit of koi philosophy and a little bit of chat about life. Joe, thanks for being my co-pilot as always.
No problem, mate. Anytime. I think I'm back.
The exits doors are at the end, in the middle. Yeah.
No, sound. And I'm back on again tonight. I think with tomorrow night with Ricky for Question Time Live as well. So tune in for that tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I know he's milking me before I go on holiday. That's what it is.
That's it, mate. It's got to be done. Got to be done, I'm afraid. All right, guys.
Right. See you later.
Thanks very much.
Bye, guys.
See you on the other side. Bye. Bye.
Bye.